Welcome to Art Time with Flory. I am so excited that you're here to participate in our St. Patrick's art class today. Now, today's project is our St. Patrick's Leprechaun. Today's art project will be a little bit different. We will not be creating our St. Patrick's Leprechaun on an art paper. It will be on a flower wooden piece. Now, if you don't have this, that's quite all right. All you have to do is copy the shape onto your art paper. So, I just wanted to let you know that if at any time you need help, you can press pause and ask a grown-up to come and help you. Now, the list of materials will be listed in our description box along with the links that will let you know where you can get the materials. All right, are you ready to get started on our beautiful, fun St. Patrick's Leprechaun art project? I am. Let's get started. All right, kids, before we get started on our St. Patrick's Leprechaun art project, we are going to get our creative juices flowing with a little Irish dance to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. So, we are going to dance a short, fun Irish dance with a little Irish music. Let's get jiggy! Now we're going to go over the list of materials that you will be needing in order to complete our St. Patrick's Leprechaun art project. So you'll need your paints, you'll need 2 brushes, your paint spatula, Googly Eyes. You'll also need a palette, paint palette, in order to put your paints on. You will need a paper towel to clean your brushes off. You'll need your wooden flower that you can get at the 99-cent store. But if you can't get that, you can always draw the flower shape on your art paper. So there's an example there that you can use. All right, kids, are you ready to get started? Let's get going. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is, as you can see, I have all the colors that I'm going to use. You're going to blend your red and yellow. Now I put a nice big glop of red, and I put a lot more yellow than I did red because I really want my orange to turn out, okay? So I added an extra yellow in case it wasn't enough. And as you can see, I'm going to need an extra yellow because I really want it to turn orange. So it's becoming a lot more orangey. It's more of a red orange. So I'm like digging in there and making sure that my colors blend. So I'm going to get the rest of my yellow and blend. So I'm going to need to get extra yellow. But I'm still blending my colors right here. So the color is changing, so I got my yellow. I'm gonna tap, tap, tap. Make sure I get what I need. Put my yellow to paint aside. And there we go. Now it's becoming more orangey. I like a sunset orange. Now I want to add a little bit more yellow. And that's going to happen when you blend colors. This should do the trick. There we go. That's the orange I want to see. See that? Beautiful. It's like a nice bright orange. So I'm going to just put this aside. All right, so you're going to grab your sponge. You are going to dip your sponge and you're going to fill in we're going to add red to the left side of the bubble. This is going to be part of his hair. So you just tap, 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 tap. Perfect. You're going to dip some more. And you're going to make sure we're going to leave the top bare, because that's going to be where we add his green hat. So right now, I'm just going to add a little bit right here. Tap, tap, tap away, and going around. Now we're filling in his beard. This is the side hair, this is the bottom of his beard, of our leprechaun beard. And now it starts forming a face, kind of like a circular, right? So go ahead, tap, 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 tap. And if you get paint on your hands, that's okay, because it's art time! And if you're not messy, you're not having fun! And I'm holding it down with my fingers so that way it doesn't move so much. So it's okay. So now I'm trying to shape his face. I'm going to do a round face. And you can use the sides. There we go. Now I'm just going to add like a little bit of bangs. Look at that. All right. I think we did a pretty good job. How are you guys doing? Look at this. This is going to be a great little home decor that you can put or hang in your home. A nice little St. Patrick's decor. Okay, so now that we have this ready, what we're going to do is we're going to put our sponge aside. And we're going to grab our little paper towel. We're going to wipe our hands. We want to wipe our hands because now we're going to add a little bit of like skin color for him. Alright, so you're going to grab your googly eye. You're going to grab the paintbrush that you use to paint the face. You're going to get some paint. You're going to add it to the googly eyes. Careful, because they're slippery. You're going to place the eyes onto his face. And if you get some paint on his eyes, it's okay. When it dries, it'll easily come off. I'm going to grab the second eye. Grab my paintbrush. And place it on his face. There we go. So now we have his eyes. So you just slightly count 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and now we're going to paint his nose. So I'm going to get the little paintbrush. I'm going to dip it in the water bottle because I need it to not be so stiff. And we are going to use the color that we blended. We're going to add a nose. We're going to add, I want to add freckles. If you don't want to add freckles, you don't have to. You do. I like freckles. And then I'm going to add a smile. I need a little more paint. And so now what I'm going to do is dip my brush, rinse what I have here, grab my paper towel because I want the color to be off because now I'm going to use white. So there we go. I'm going to dip my paintbrush into the white and add, this is for his teeth. So we're going to fill in the mouth and paint it white. Beautiful. Our St. Patrick's Leprechaun is coming along very nicely. And once we are done, add just a little bit more, just a tiny bit. And if you notice, I'm lightly brushing it because I don't want too much paint. I need it to dry quickly. I'm going to dip my paintbrush back into the water. Make sure all the paint is off. I like to tap it on the bottom of the bottle so it comes off and then dry. And I twist and turn so my paintbrush fully dries. Now I'm going to go back to the tan that we created. And I'm going to lightly, with the tip, very slowly, create teeth. Perfect. Now I'm going to dip my brush again and rinse. And then we're going to add a little mustache. You don't want to add a mustache, that's quite all right. But I'm going to add a mustache to my leprechaun. All right, so we're going to grab our sponge and I'm going to add mustache to. Looks like I need a little bit more. I don't want to get gloss paint. I want to get a little bit because mustache is over. And if you notice, I'm getting really close, shaping it more. I need a little bit more. So this is where I get to shape my face a little bit more, give him a rounder look. Do you have an uncle or your dad who has a mustache? So now I'm gonna kind of round it out a little bit more. There we go. La-da-da. And I am done with the mustache. And now we're going to go straight to the top of the hat. So we're going to get our paintbrush. This one's dirty, so I am going to rinse it. Make sure that you rub it on the bottom of the glass bottle, or if you have a cup, just rub the bottom because that way the paint really gets out of the paintbrush. All right, so once you're done, remember you want to grab your towel, your paper towel or towel, and just rub it in there so it's nice and dry. Now what we're going to do is we're going to dip our paintbrush onto the green. And we're going to nicely paint the top, making the hat. I'm going to place my hand here to hold it down. Look at that. Oh, who loves the color green? I do. I think green is such a beautiful, bright green color. Reminds me when I go visit the mountains. There's this special place that I go to in Big Bear that I've been to and I love. To visit the Tree of Life, there is just like a valley of just green long grass. And when the wind blows, you can hear it whistle. It's really beautiful. Hey, maybe a leprechaun's hiding there, huh? All right. In Ireland, it's beautiful and green and luscious. So I'm getting close to finishing the hat, the top of the hat now. We can overlap your green paint over the red, because we're going to make a nice little line to make his hat. So don't be afraid to paint over the red. So I'm going to make an invisible line of where my see that? Paint the top and slowly glide. I need more. And that's part of his hat. Beautiful. So I'm taking the green and make sure that fill that in so it looks nice and smooth. I can have a nice straight line. So I gotta dip it in a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. It's got a nice hat. How's your leprechaun coming along? I hope you're having fun, and I hope it looks incredible. I'm sure it will. All right, I'm going to fill in a little bit here because I can see a little red, and I don't want there to be red on his hat. Just a little bit. All right, we are complete with the hat. We're gonna let it dry. We're gonna soon add a little black belt and a little yellow, what is it called? Buckle. And then we'll get started on the four-leaf clover, sorry about that, right now. All right, so now I'm done with that part. And I want to use a smaller brush, so I'm going to pick my little brush and we will start off with four-leaf clover, the two bottom leaves. See how I did that? And fill it in a bit. There we go. We have a perfect little four-leaf clover stem. Darken it a little bit. Voila! Actually, I'm going to fatten it up a little bit. Just a little bit. Beautiful. I am happy with my 4-leaf clover. Now I'm going to dip my brush into the water bottle here and rinse it off. Make sure that the green is gone and dry my brush onto the paper towel. Now we're going to add the belt part of, finish off the hat. So we're going to get a little black. You don't need too much, just enough. And make a nice straight line. And then you can fill it in. There we go. Look at that. It's turning out really great. And once we're done with this part, we are going to add a yellow buckle. We're going to rinse our brush because we will need to use the same brush. All right, we are almost there, guys. And once you're done, I want to make it a little thick, not too thin. All right, now I'm going to rinse my brush in the water. My green milky water is now turning into gray. A little green tint to it still. All right, my brush looks a little bit cleaner. Oh, a lot cleaner actually. We're gonna dry it off on a paper towel. And I'm going to need yellow. So I ran out of yellow. Tap, tap. We don't need too much. Perfect. Put that to the side. I'm going to get a nice amount of yellow. Kind of figure out my center. Look at that. Dip, dip, dip. And voila! Our leprechaun, Irish leprechaun, is complete on one side. Now what we're going to do is clean your brush, because you're going to need to use it again, and dry it out. There's still a little yellow, so I got to rinse it out. And just dry it out. Perfect. I'm also going to rinse out my other brush. It's ready. Perfect. So now we're going to wrap our leprechaun. We're going to flip him over. And this is going to be the fun part. Well, I feel like the whole entire thing is the fun part. We're going to grab your sponge. All right, so I'm going to be holding up my little wood leprechaun because my buckle isn't fully dried yet, and neither is the black part of it, or the black belt. So we're gonna flip it over. I'm gonna hold it up, tilt it up. I'm gonna dip my sponge, and I'm going to cover the entire back part green. It's going to be a little noisy. That's okay. That's the fun fun part. Who says art has to be quiet? Not me. So here we go. Some nice little shamrock or a flower, whatever you want. So you're going to cover the entire backside with green paint. If you don't have a sponge and you only have a paintbrush, that's fine. Or if you have a sponge brush, that's even perfect. But I like the tapping because it's fun. Sounds are fun. How's it going for you guys? Almost there? Are you almost done tapping away? You want to get everything covered. Make sure you don't have a spot that does not have green. Here we go. Alright. So I'm going to put my sponge to the side real quick. So I got one more little area to finish up. Now, say you don't feel comfortable holding up your shamrock, that's okay. You can let the other side dry, take a break, and then come back to it. And then if it's dry, you can flip it over and that way it can be a little easier for you to tap the green onto your St. Patrick's shamrock. All right, that looks perfect. Okay, I'm gonna look on the other side and see, okay, it's not fully dry, but now I can do this because I have the eyes. So the eyes kind of hold it up. Now, the reason why I am placing it over is because the eyes on the other side kind of lift it up. But if you tap it with a sponge with the eyes, you know, it could make the eyes move. I don't want that to happen. So we're going to make sure that we don't ruin the eyes of the leprechaun on the other side. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our paintbrush. We're going to paint a pot of gold. First we're going to start with black paint because we got to make the cauldron. So you're going to dip your paintbrush and I'm going to find the center and I'm going to start with a smile. I'm going to, you want to dip in a lot of black because you're going to paint the inside black so you have your nice beautiful pot or cauldron, and then we'll add dots of yellow gold coins. Hold it down. There we go. I want my pot of gold to be a little bit bigger. Look at that. How's it turning out for you guys? I'm going to add a little bit more black. Look at that. And a touch of gold. That's not a very great accent, but it's fun to try. There we go. We are done with our little cauldron. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip my brush and leave it in there for just a little bit. Grab my other little tiny brush, dip onto the yellow, and just start making little dots. And creating my pot of gold. So make sure that it's a nice full pot of gold. And then I'm going to add some dots here because my pot of gold is overflowing and some of the gold coins have fallen down. And now we are pretty much done with our pot of gold. I'm going to add a tiny bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. And voila, we are done with our pot of gold. We are next going to rinse our brush. 2 brushes here, so now I'm rinsing 2 brushes. Yay! So the last thing we're going to do for our shamrock is I want to add Happy St. Patrick's Day and 2 little 4-leaf clovers. If you guys want to add Happy St. Patrick's Day, great. If you don't worry about it. You can do whatever you want for your art project. So now what I want to use is a light green. So we have our green and we have our white. So I'm going to get some green here. I'll mix it here. Let's mix it here. We need a little more white. Look at that beautiful lime green. Alright, so I'm going to grab some of that and I am going to add Happy. We need some more. P. What's the next letter, kids? Yes, P. Oop, looks like I need more green, more paint. Beautiful. Okay. Happy. Really extend our P's a little bit longer. All right, so now we're going to add a St. Patrick's Day. Nice little S. So it looks like I need more green, so I'm going to keep adding more paint here. And you notice how my brush is getting a little clumpy? Yeah, so this is what you can do. Twirl. And now it's not as clumpy anymore. Saint Patrick's. Let's get a little bit more paint. My little K got a little big, but that's okay. So this is what we can do to fix it. So I want my K to show up really well. So I'm going to rinse a little bit. Get a little dark green at the bottom. See that? See what I did there? I created space. Now I'm going to add some with a light green tip. Voila! It's called blending. All right, so now we have St. Patrick's. Now I'm going to add day. Now my paint is kind of drying up, so I gotta add more. I gotta get more white, green. There we go. And to finish off, I want to add 4-leaf clover. Now once again, you don't have to add the 4-leaf clover if you don't want to. I want to add it on mine. So here we go. Here we go. One more. So it's like a heart. You draw an upside down heart for your 4-leaf clover. And paint it inside. So now I'm going to add the finishing touch, just a little bit of green in the middle, kind of like a little V or X. There we go. We are done. And if you want to add a little bit more, you can always dip your little brush in the yellow just to make it stand out. Make it fun. All right. We are done. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hey kids, if you had a lot of fun creating this awesome fun St. Patrick's Leprechaun, then feel free to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Art Time with Flory, to get notifications of our upcoming art classes. Happy St. Patrick's Day!